Hello and welcome to the Franchise Tag Fantasy Show. We're back with another special episode. The rookie draft has been completed. They've all been assigned their teams in the NFL. So we thought, what better way to do that than help you guys do a Dynasty rookie draft. For those of you who don't know what that is, your Dynasty teams are players that you keep for your whole entire time of having a fantasy team. Every year you get your own sort of draft like we've just seen the professionals do, and you get to pick 5 additional players from that you are allowed to trade and things like that. So we're just going to go through what that might look like this year and our tips and our hints of who to pick up. Adam, did you enjoy the draft that was on, and are you looking forward to doing your first rookie mock draft?
I did enjoy the draft. It was very, very late. I'm still half asleep. My voice is dying, as you can tell. So I'm still suffering from the after effects of the draft. But no, it was good. It was good to watch it. Nice to see, especially some of the wide receivers that went really high in the first round. Yeah, it was, always good to see the draft. And I think I quite enjoyed this one a little bit more than last year's. It was, no one really knew where anyone was going. It was all a little bit more unpredictable. Whereas for last year, it was like, well, we know where the quarterbacks are going and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that was good. And yeah, I mean, we say that we're here to help you, but in reality, we're just trying to help ourselves. I mean, if anyone thinks that we're here to help them, they're crazy. But yeah, I mean, a few dynasty leagues, I need some help with with knowing who the hell some of these players are, and thankfully we've got our very well versed college expert on here who knows what he's talking about. Some say, so yeah. I mean, it should be good.
Right. Well, let's get straight into it. Let's get it up on screen and have a little look what we've got. That's not right. You look like that now, Adam. There we go.
Hey.
Little hiccup there, but so we are yet again. If you saw our first one where we did a full Dynasty start off for beginners, then we're using Sleeper app again, one of the better known ones and probably the best one for stuff like this. So yeah, if anybody wondered what site we were using, that's what it is. We'll go straight into it. Let's kick off with the rookie draft.
Hey. Right, so who have we got? No real shocker, really. So we've had Bryce Hall, Kenneth Walker go as the first 2. I think, to be honest, we kind of feel like that's probably what's going to happen in most rookie drafts, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the only reason it wouldn't happen like that is if you've already got a team, you're going to go based on needs, aren't you? And if you've already got a quality running back core already, you either might want to trade out of that position or you're going to go best wide receiver available here, aren't you? Especially in this draft with quarterbacks not being so fantastic or might not even be starting. So yeah, I think in most of them, though, you're going to see those 2 names going off the board first.
Yeah. So also first wide receiver Treylon Burks. Now I like the look of him. I thought his tape looked decent. You not so much of a fan is how it came across anyway. But obviously, given the AJ Brown trade, it kind of feels like he could potentially be the main guy there. I mean, with Robert Woods suffering the ACL injury last year, we don't know how well he's going to be when he comes back. I mean, is that a surprise that he's gone first, or do you think that?
Yeah, I think he wasn't the first one to go in the actual draft itself, and those guys are still on there. I think when you're talking about fantasy, yeah, he's going to be the wide receiver 1, and I think that does count for a lot in fantasy, knowing that your player is going to see a lot of the ball, get a lot of the ball, get the yards, get the touchdowns. So I see the appeal in going for Burks that way. Drake London, we're not sure if he's going to be fit day 1. Apparently he is, but this is Dynasty. Like, you're not bothered about fit day 1. You're bothered about whether he's good year 1, year 2, year 3. So yeah, I probably would take a gamble on one of the more polished guys at one of the bigger teams, maybe.
Yeah, so, I'm looking at it. I'm on the clock at 4. I kind of feel like, there is Drake London, there is Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jameson Williams. I know what you say about the fact that this is obviously for a lot more than just the first few weeks and things like that. But when I look at it, I do kind of feel like, although Jameson Williams, I think, has the potential to be the guy for Detroit in the future, I do really like Drake London at wide receiver for Atlanta, who, yes, Kyle Pitts is there, but that is it. It really is. And I feel that London has that sort of potential to really sort of like push out, become their number one, not just for a couple of years, but be their number one long term. And so in a dynasty draft, it feels like London is the one to go for. Like I say, there are other ones that you could go for, but for me, I think London just looks that bit better at the moment in the situation that he's found himself in.
Yeah, especially again, he's another guy that fair well. He's going to be wide receiver 1 for his team. I think that's why you've seen Garrett Wilson go after him, because he should be wide receiver 1 in that team, but there is other receivers there that have showed their talent of being able to compete. And the same with Olave. He's scheduled to be wide receiver 2, isn't he, at the moment, behind Michael Thomas? So he's going to share the ball a little bit more than what you're going to see from London, and then your guy Williams goes after that. So no,
I don't think I can class him as my guy. I'm a Green Bay fan. They're not going to. I can't claim him as my guy if he's for the Lions, but I hear what you're saying.
Maybe why don't you just become an Alabama fan and then you can claim it? This leaves me in a lovely position because we've recently just done the franchise tag. We're in a podcast Dynasty League, and the guy that I feel should be going a lot higher on this and would be a guy that I'd want to gamble all in on for the wide receiver position. Might not have been so massively hot on him in the draft, is Christian Watson. The guy's, he's 6'4", he's an absolute speedster. Yeah, he's a bit raw in talent and he didn't play in the top division, but he's got Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball. We know that Aaron Rodgers is going to be there for a few more years. We know, again, he's probably going to be wide receiver 1, isn't he? He's going to compete with Lazard, but I think they're going to want to get this guy straight as the chemistry builds and try and use him as much as they can. The drop off from the 2 running backs after Hall and Walker is probably a little bit too steep to probably you're reaching, I think, if you go in round 1 for another running back. So for me, I think Christian Watson in this rookie draft is worth more than the better guys that are on the board just based on where he's landed in Green Bay.
Yeah, I know you say that, and I get why you're going down there, but you've always been the one who's been very much, there's a drop-off, a significant drop-off when you come out of the sort of like the top division in college football. And obviously Watson wasn't in that, and he did predominantly play, against weaker sides, and that's something that I know that you've always sort of said that is a bit of an issue. Does that worry you at all?
Not with where he's gone. I think that's what's made me more confident with who's thrown him the ball. I think that's what gives me a bit more confidence in him. We saw what he can do at the combine. We've seen tape from him. He needed to go somewhere that he had the best chance. I think if you'd seen him at Detroit and this was the other way around, I might not have been so hot on him. I don't think he would have got the production and the balls from Goff that he's going to get from Rodgers. So I might not have been so hot on Watson in this draft, rookie draft here, if he hadn't have landed at Green Bay. again, if he'd gone to New York, I probably wouldn't be singing his praises as high. I just really like where he's landed in the NFL and think it really excels him to get to his maximum potential.
Yeah, so after Watson went at the 1-8, we've had Skye Moore go, James Cook go at the 110, George Pickens and Dotson go at the 112. Skye Moore's an interesting one. I kind of feel like he's been sort of, it's strange. It kind of felt like it went, but and similar to this drop, Burks, London, Wilson, Olave, and Williams were sort of the guys that everyone was talking about. Then there was the drop off, and because Watson went to Green Bay, like you say, a lot of chat because of that. But Skye Moore going to Kansas City, I mean, it's not the worst place in the world for a rookie receiver to go to. So, he's going to have Patrick Mahomes. There's going to be loads of throwing that ball around. And I understand that there are other weapons there, but, realistically, it's not a bad place for him to go. And in the same way with George Pickens as well at Pittsburgh, I mean, they're well known for bringing on rookie receivers. So I kind of feel like these two at the 1-9 and the 1-11, they're decent picks.
Yeah, definitely. I think Skye Moore fits Kansas City's team perfectly. He's an absolute speedster. He's one of those sort of track guys, 5'10". I think they were looking to replace Tyreek Hill, so the guy's got similar attributes when you're looking at stuff like that. So, and Kansas City definitely needed to bolster that position. Yeah, they brought in Juju, but yeah, what a great place for a rookie to go to, and again, his value is going to increase more with where he's landed in the NFL, isn't it?
Yeah. So second round, we've gone White has gone, new Tampa Bay running backs has gone at the 2-1, Pierce at 2-2, and David Bell has gone at the 2-3. It's left me with basically Isaiah Spiller. that's pretty much. There's not a lot of really exciting running backs afterwards. I could go tight end. Trey McBride is there. I think that it's an interesting spot, Arizona, for him, because I think there was a lot of hype about McBride, but obviously you've got someone there who's, Ertz is there for a couple of years. They've just signed him, so it does sort of put you off. There is one guy who stands out personally for me. It was one that I mentioned before the draft that I really liked the look of. I think he's gone to a really good situation as well. I think, Alec Pierce at Indianapolis, at Indy, has got a quarterback there now who is strong, solid, great O-line. Michael Pittman's there, but realistically, I think Pierce has got a very good chance of coming in as the number 2 there, at least, and over time potentially taking that number 1. I think he could potentially be that good. So I think Pierce is a good shout for the 2-4, and I know you're a fan as well. So
yeah, again, another situational guy that's fell to the right team. I think he's going to complement that team absolutely fantastically. I think when you're looking at comparisons from Ridder, who was his quarterback at college, he plays a little bit like Matty Ice. So, I think he's going to be familiar in that team already, despite the fact he's never ran a route there yet. And I think he complements the wide receiving core that they've got. They've got a lot of good guys. They might not necessarily have that elite wide receiver 1, but I think Pittman's absolutely fantastic. I think if Paris Campbell stays fit, he can be fantastic. And this is just another great piece. I think it's going to be a good wide receiver core. They might share it out. They'll play the hot hand in that, I think. I think whichever one of them starts the game the best, they might be wide receiver 1 in that game. I don't think there's necessarily he's the guy sort of thing, similar to what we're probably going to see at Denver.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, I think he's going to do fantastic things there, and it's a great pick. It's someone that I would have wanted if he was still on the board, definitely down at pick number 8. So yeah, brilliant pick that.
Yeah, so Trey Mcbride goes 2.5. Again, as I said, I completely understand it. I think he's the standout tight end of this class by a long way. But at Arizona with Zach Ertz, I kind of feel like it could potentially be a play for not this year, but maybe next year. But I mean, this is Dynasty, so that's kind of the whole point. You got to look to the future with it. Mechie and Robinson have gone next. Your Giants wide receiver has gone. You could have had one of your own guys, but he's not there, I'm afraid. So I know you're a fan of Mechie, like.
Big fan of him. For me, before the season started, I thought he was going to be Alabama's wide receiver one. I thought he might be in the conversation of being up there with Wilson and Olave before the season started, of maybe being the number one pick. Suffered with his injuries, competed with Williams. But yeah, essentially, you've got a day one starter. For me, without the injuries, you've got a round one wide receiver, but we know he's not going to be fit. I think he's one of them that's not going to be fit for the start of the season. But again, it doesn't matter. He's going to be there for a long time. He's going to be part of that rebuild. So I think he's going to see a lot of the ball. It's a great pick. As for Robinson, I think that's a reach for him in Dynasty because what is he on the depth chart? He's wide receiver 4. And looking at the type of position that he played in college, he's massively going to compete with both Sterling Shepard and Kadarius Toney. And Kadarius Toney is used in that Swiss Army knife sort of playbook, which I think Robinson also Kentucky was used in that as well. So where's he going to get enough time to impact fantasy? I think he'd be a great player for the Giants, but will he impact fantasy-wise? I'm not sure.
Do you think that it's because of the rumours of Toney possibly going that this is why they've drafted Robinson? Like you say, it feels like a similar player.
Yeah, but nothing seems to be indicating that Toney's actually going yet. So
no.
You would have thought he would have gone and then they picked him rather than the scenario we've now got. So I don't know. If he does go, then yeah, it's a like-for-like replacement. Good on you. Right, I've got a minute left. I haven't even looked. Who do I want? Again, quickly, just while we're talking about it, the running backs that have gone, even the ones that have gone back end of round 1, start of round 2, they're going to share carries, all 3 of them. None of them are going to come in and take the job straight away, especially Cook. He's got 2 guys to compete with. Same with Spiller at the Chargers. He's not going to come in day 1. I'm not sure there's value in a lot of the running backs going down. The Zamir White one is definitely one I'd look into because they didn't pick up the 5th-year option. I'm going to lock it in now. Then we'll talk about it. Yeah, they didn't pick up the 5th-year option on Josh Jacobs. Nearly forgot his name then. So that really indicates that are they ready to move on for him? And Zamir White for me was the RB1 at Georgia. When you looked at the split in the carries that he had with Cook, who's gone in round 1, they offer a different style of play, but I thought this was the big runner, the big guy, and especially he's probably going to be used to punch it over the line and get those sort of short yard touchdowns, which is great for fantasy. So I think they're going to use him in the mix-up because Jacobs didn't stay fit, did he?
No. I think it's definitely one worth looking at. Like you say, White, there is the potential, and even if it's not just for this year, there certainly is afterwards. With if Jacobs isn't going to be there, so Spiller went at the 2.9. Kind of felt like it was one that probably would go. Robinson, Tolbert, and then Allegair goes at the 2.12. After that, who have we got? We have got Kenny Pickett going at the 3.1. Woods, I know you're a fan of Woods. I know that Indianapolis and with Jack Doyle not there, it does leave a bit of a spot, of course, with it's just Ali Cox there, I think, at the moment.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's a good shout there in the 3rd round to take him. I am on the clock at 3-4. What do I do? See, this is the thing. I kind of feel like now you're going into the real sort of. I feel like the best players are gone. Really, like you've reached a point in the third round. If it was me personally, I'd probably be looking to trade these picks away to try and move up on the other picks and get better players. Pierre Strong is one that maybe, I mean, but it's the New England running back system where there's so many of them, you just don't know who's gonna go. I kind of quite like the look of Shakir. I think Shakir looks decent. He kind of reminds me of, he's got that sort of Treylon Burks kind of look to him, where he's a a bit of a heavy runner sort of thing. I think he looks
You had him on your
decent.
radar for a later round for the Packers, didn't you?
Yeah, Shakir and I think it was
Melton.
Bo Melton. Yeah, he was the other one that I kind of it kind of felt like, because there was a lot of talk about Treylon Burks and the Packers, thinking that he was going to fall to them and stuff like that. But they were sort of like late round alternatives that were similar. So I feel like I'm just taking wide receivers here, but but I think that given who's there, I think that Shakir is probably the one that I would go for at this point. So I'm going to take him. After that, Williams went, Pierre Strong went, Ingram at Arizona has gone. Not a bad shout, actually, Ingram at Arizona. They've got, who have they got? They've got Kenyon Drake, and now Chase Edmonds has gone. He's not an awful one to pick up.
For Arizona, they've got James Conner, and
have they got Kenyon Drake?
No, he's at Raiders, isn't he? Is it the Raiders?
He's gone to hasn't he?
Eno Benjamin and James Conner. I really like Eno Benjamin. Guys need to watch out for him. Just generally in fantasy, I think he offers a similar style of run to Conner. I think they're going to complement each other quite well. So yeah, I'm not sure where Ingram might fit in that. Kyren Williams is a great pick at the Rams. He's going to be used in the catching game. He's a bit wily, a bit speedy on the outside. So they're going to use Cam Akers and him, I think, quite well together. No Sony Michel there anymore. So I think there's a place for him to compete for a bit of snap time there.
Yeah, I think there is. The problem with him is it does feel like they made a decision about Akers that he's going to be the main guy. The fact that he came back as quick as he did, it feels like he's going to be the guy. And the other thing is the fact that Michel has gone, but Henderson is still there. That kind of just makes me feel like they obviously like Henderson. They want to keep him there. So that's two running backs in front of him.
I don't necessarily think that Henderson's in front of him. I think Henderson's there to kind of be backup in case anything happens to Akers. I think Kyren Williams is going to be the change-up guy. I think he's going to be used in the throwing game a bit more and that sort of thing, which is where I think he might, like Hines has had success at the Colts, being third string. He's always good for fantasy if the matchup's right. So I think there's a chance there.
Yeah.
For me, round 3, when you're looking at stuff like this, I think if you've got your solid 2 guys that you wanted, whether it be 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, or a combination of any of that, I think that after that's in, they might make impacts in your fantasy team straight away. It's worth taking a gamble in round 3 and going for a quarterback for the future or a tight end. I think that is the round to do it. So Pickett's gone. I do like some of the other guys. I don't think there's value in them overly yet. So I think the tight end position, because most Dynasty ones have the super flex option. It's usually used a lot. So you can use 2 tight ends. It's not like when you just do the standard redraft, whatever, you get 1 tight end. So if you've got George Kittle or Kelsey or something like that, what's the point in investing in another one? Here, it's slightly different. I think there's value in them. And some of these guys coming through, we used heavily in the receiving game at college. I personally think the one to go for here, I'm scrolling down, it's going to be a bit far down, is Jeremy Rucker. Reminds me a lot of Freiermuth at Pittsburgh. He was used a lot at Ohio in the blocking, but when he was given the chance to catch, I think he had like the highest catch percentage of any like tight end in college. He doesn't drop the ball. He's reliable and he's good. And I think New York Jets might need to use this option quite a bit. They've added some nice pieces, but I really, really like this piece, and I think it's worth a gamble at this spot because he could add value this season if you're struggling or on your bye week. So yeah, I'm gonna go a bit risky here.
Yeah, I think he's a good shout. He's definitely someone who, like you say, Freiermuth is the comparison, and he's been he on the tape he's looked pretty good. Obviously at the moment you got CJ Uzama who's just signed for them, but I mean it's like, he's not going to be there forever, so that's not a problem. After Rucker went, you got Haskins has gone to the Tennessee running back's gone. Right up next, Willis has gone 310. Are you a little surprised that maybe it's? I know he's behind Tannehill, but it does feel like the way the conversation's going that if there's going to be any sort of like troubles in them first few games, that he could be pushed up pretty quickly towards starting. I mean, he's definitely he has shown potential. I think we all think he needs a bit of time, but there is rumours and a chance that he may well be starting if it all starts going wrong.
Yeah, especially we're going to see a lot more tape from like training camp and preseason and stuff this year that we haven't seen in previous years due to COVID. I think once people see his arm on tape with the NFL players, that's when the fans are going to start saying, if anything, like you say, if anything goes wrong or there's some mishaps or something like that, and this film's going to spiral, I think, onto the internet, and fans are going to be saying, get him in. So it might come earlier than people are anticipating, and maybe a bit too early for what Willis might be ready for with that team that he's landed at. But yeah, I don't think it'd be long till people are talking about starting him if things do go bad.
Yeah, so I think to get him at the 310 in your rookie draft is a decent shout. Chandler and Brady go at the end of the third round. Thornton, the wide receiver in New England, is the 4-1, and then Desmond Ridder's going at 4-2. Again, another one who I feel like if it starts going wrong with Mariota, and it's not in the nicest possible way, it wouldn't be a shocker if it wasn't going great, especially with the weapons that they have there. He's someone who could be in for a start pretty early, and out of all the quarterbacks that kind of fell, and they apart from Pickett, they all fell a little bit further than what I think most analysts thought that they would. Ridder generally, and it felt like he was angry. He was upset that he had dropped. Whereas for Willis, kind of just felt like, oh well, whatever happens. Ridder came across as though he was a bit upset about it, and that he's potentially could have a bit of a chip on his shoulder because of it. I could see him doing okay in Atlanta. So I think 4-2 is a good one. 4-3 was tight end Kalar at Baltimore. I mean, they got so many tight ends. He might come through, but who knows? As you've said, I think you were saying in the third round that is potentially the time to take a gamble. I think now that you're in the fourth round and the fifth round, it really is time to just hit a gamble. There's one quarterback who I think has the potential to be really, really good, and you're not going to like it because I know that you like him. But yeah, I think Matt Corral, I think he has the potential to do it. Not only that, he's in a position where the quarterbacks that he's got in front of him, Sam Darnold, and I've forgotten PJ Walker, are not the greatest. They've shown that they're not the greatest. If Corral can have a decent pre-season, then I think he has a really good shot at, of pushing for that starting gig. I don't think he's necessarily going to be great straight away, but I think that he has the potential, like, in time to do really well. And he kind of has that. I'm not saying that he is going to be Aaron Rodgers before anyone loses their mind, but I feel like he does have that sort of like play action potential in him to be that guy. So I think because of that, I will take him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a mixture of Aaron Rodgers and Kyler Murray. I mean, what more would you want out of a quarterback? They're two elite guys. Yeah, the two quarterbacks that have just gone in that round, I think both of them have a standard chance of being the franchise quarterbacks this season for them. I think Ridder, again, he's one of the most experienced guys from college coming in. Mariota hasn't played for a long time. Is that going to be a bit of a playoff for the starting position? Maybe. And Corral, again, that's another team. If anything's sort of like dropping off and it's not quite right at the Panthers, there's going to be calling to get a new guy in there. And from what I saw from him at college, he learnt quickly. Every single season, he improved on something he wasn't good at. People said, Matt Corral's not going to be a future quarterback because he can't do this. But then the next season, he cleaned that up. He'd done it. He fixed it. And season on season into this last season where he had a fantastic season. So this shows that this guy can learn. And he's a quick learner and is willing to change his bad traits. So I think he's got a great chance of fitting in nicely at the Panthers. I think they've got a good squad. I think he's gone into a team that is already decent. He's not fell at Falcons where it's complete rebuild. It's a good landing spot for Corral. I think he's got a chance there to do well. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of tight ends and quarterbacks coming off the board now, aren't we?
Yeah, I think, like we said, it reaches that point, doesn't it, where it's like, I think once you get past that second round, it really does feel that you're kind of, they're more sort of like just darts, hoping to lottery tickets, trying to find someone that you think, yeah, that one's going to potentially do something. So I think that's where you are.
Yeah, I mean, just like the NFL, you've already got a roster for your fantasy, and you have to get rid of people to bring these rookies in. So I think, like I said, your first two, I think they're definitely going to be in your squad. They're definitely going to be used in the season. You're definitely going to have them either in your team or on the bench. Gamble, like I say, with the third. And then with the fourth and fifth, like you say, they're darts on the board, aren't they? I'd probably start looking at, with the fourth and fifth pick, who might be value to you if you want to make a trade in the future. If you've already filled all your positions, if you've got 3 or 4 quarterbacks on your team and you definitely don't need one, it still might be sensible to take one in this draft and use him as trade fodder in the season for a player or for next season's draft. And for me, there's only one more quarterback really left worth talking about with that, and that's Sam Howell at Washington. Again,
not Brock Purdy? I thought you were going to go for Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
No. Sam Howell, I think he was a steal in the draft. I think you will see the Sam Howell of before his UNC team got diminished and all went to the NFL. One of his guys that he used to throw to is at Washington as well. So he's already got good chemistry with one of the wide receivers. And it's not clear what they're going to be doing with quarterback going forward. They're going to try something with Wentz. If it doesn't work, who's up? Could be this guy. And if he comes out and he's as good as what he was before, he's going to be worth quite a bit for you if you need to trade him, and he's a starter, because starters are always worth trading for, because people retire and people get old, and then you need these youngsters in Dynasty. So Yeah, I would take someone who you could potentially trade, even if you don't need him.
Yeah, I think Howe's a decent shout for that as well. It's like, we saw in college he had his moments. So it's like it would be someone who's definitely worth a go.
For me, he never really had a terrible year. He started off fantastic, and then there was a drop off. He declined, and people don't like it when college quarterbacks decline before they go into the NFL. But like I said, UNC, they're not a big college. They don't like replenish their teams like Alabama and Ohio and Clemson and Georgia. They don't, have permanent 5-star graded players coming from high school into their team all the time. So, it might be a one and done season, and he was part of that season. So, I don't think he's turned bad overnight.
No, I agree. I think he's definitely someone worth taking. A lot of tight ends have gone now, especially in this fourth round. You've seen a lot of them. Just before you took Howe, you saw Dulwich and Otten go. Bellinger went. There's been quite a few. How do you feel about Bellinger at the Giants? Do you think it's worth a shout?
It's worth a gamble. I spoke to Fred about him. Again, he was another guy at college that was used heavily in the blocking system. When he was asked to catch, he caught the ball well. We were looking for a replacement of someone who would be used in the receiving game, because we've got Ricky Seals-Jones and Akins from Houston now. So he's equally as good, I reckon, straight off the bat as them. So if not better, because he's a lot younger. So I think we must have seen something in him that, we lost Evan Ingram, who was massive in the receiving game. There's got to be something here with him. I think he's worth a gamble to see what we can get out of him. I think he's good enough. So it's worth a shot.
Yeah. So as I likely went at the 5-1, Romeo, my man, the new Green Bay guy's gone. That's no good for me. I'm going to show a shocking lack of knowledge here. I have no idea who that Pittsburgh quarterback is. You're going to have to help me out.
I've seen loads of people take him in rookie mocks already. How's he going to get in the team? I don't know how he's going to get in the team.
No, I've no idea. You've got Trubisky there. I know it's only a short contract, but you've got him there. They've now taken Kenny Pickett. The idea is that he's going to be the number one guy. You've got Mason Rudolph. Hopefully we won't be seeing him again, but you never know. I don't really see it. So it's a bit of a weird one. I'm in the 5th round, my last pick now. I'm really tempted to take Snoop Connor just purely because his name is Snoop. I feel that's something that people should be doing with their 5th round picks. I know I've taken a lot of wide receivers. I'm just going to pretend that my running back room was very solid and that I was struggling at wide receiver. But there is one guy left who, Calvin Austin at Pittsburgh. I'm literally taking him because he's in Pittsburgh, and they just seem to work miracles with these receivers. It's ridiculous. And so I like I said, I did speak about Bo Melton as someone who I thought could potentially be useful for a lot of teams, but unfortunately he's gone to the Seahawks, and no one wants to be on that Seahawks team at the moment. So I think for me, I'm going to finish my draft with Calvin Austin.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see Romeo drop to round 5 in any of rookie mock drafts. So if you do see that name on the board, round 3, round 4, pick him up, because he won't be there round 5.
I think he's definitely around like an early round 4, late round 3 candidate. I think it's just purely because the algorithms at the moment and stuff like that. But I think there's definitely someone. They've gone on a mad quarterback run at the end just to finish it off. Thompson's gone, Purdy, Strong, Strong get? He didn't get drafted, did he?
He didn't get drafted, but he's been picked up on as an unsigned free agent. Where did he go?
I have no idea.
Where did he go? It doesn't list it on here. That's how much up to date it is. Most of the guys that went undrafted have been picked up and signed somewhere to give a shot. So yeah, he's gone to the Eagles.
Okay. I mean, that's somewhere that obviously, Jalen Hurts is the guy, but there's not a lot else there. So yeah, I mean, he has the potential to be certainly a bench filler.
They're very different styled quarterbacks as well.
Yeah.
This guy's got a bit of an arm on him. So yeah, that's a bit of a good pickup for them. Who else have we got? You've just said it in your pick. I mean, I'm not going to do that. I have seen a lot of people picking people based on their names in this fifth pick. Someone in our own draft went, oh yeah, I'm picking Charleston Rambo just because I like his name. I actually loved Charleston Rambo at college. I thought he was good at Miami and he was good at Oklahoma. So, that's not even a silly pick. So I'd be looking at him. Also, there's a name as I was scrolling down. Might be worth a gamble. It's Justin Ross. Again, he's another guy before the season started that I thought was going to be a round one contender up there in the name in the real draft. He's been riddled with injuries, and we've not really seen much from him since Trevor Lawrence left. But if you've done your homework on him and he is fit and he can play, he's gone to the Chiefs, by the way, just so, again, unsigned, was in most people's big board for wide receivers, was in most people's top 15, top 20 easy, and went undrafted. It's because of his injuries, not because he's a bad wide receiver. He is a great wide receiver. I think he was a 5-star candidate coming out of high school. So, and he did go back and look at the tape from him when he played with Trevor Lawrence. He was great. I thought the Jags would take a gamble on him and sort of match them up together again, get a bit of chemistry. He's definitely worth a gamble in round 5 for me. So if you can get him, again, also, I've just mentioned him. I don't know how far you're going to have to scroll down to get to him either. Charleston Rambo. There he is, Charleston Rambo. Again, he's a bit smaller than you want out of a wide receiver. He's got a bit of that smaller frame from a wide receiver, but he put up outstanding numbers at both Oklahoma and Miami, 2 brilliant colleges. He's gone to the Panthers. So there's room for him to potentially play there and potentially be good. It's a coin flip between the two. Look who else is on there. No one really else I'm really looking at. Just because he's at the Chiefs, and I think he could compete to play in that starting lineup if he's fit, I'm going to take Justin Ross. It's worth a gamble. Yeah,
I think he's got a good chance. Unfortunately, Rambo didn't make it in your estimations, which was a shame. And just to finish it off, we had 3 quarterbacks in the last 4. Zapp, Welch, and Garber's all gone. A couple of quarterbacks who have they been taken? I assume or are they just people guessing that they might go somewhere? So yeah, I mean that was it. So my 5 that I got: Drake London, Alec Pierce, Shakir, Matt Corral, and Austin at the end. It is very wide receiver heavy, but as we were all saying, the wide receivers, there's a lot of strength in depth there. Realistically, unless you're in them first 2 picks, you're not getting a running back who's going to be a dead starter from day one. And the quarterbacks you don't need to take early. So, that's definitely something. Just quickly before we go, we have actually had a comment coming from Ty House. He's currently on the clock, or 29 minutes ago he was on the clock, so we might be a bit late to help him out, but he's just had this offer: AJ Dillon and the 2024 first for the 201, 205, 301, and the 308. He's saying that Rashad White, Dotson, Bell, etc. are all still on the board. Which side do you want?
I'd rather keep AJ Dillon and my first round pick.
Yeah, I must admit, from looking at it, when you look at so you got the 201, 205. So who would that be that we've just taken, that we've just done?
201 was you're looking at White or Pierce, so two running backs. Again, like I said, they're not going to start. Who did you have at the back end? Dotson.
205 was McBride. 301 and 308 are the other two picks. So, you know, you're looking at Kenny Pickett and Rucker in this particular one. So basically, you would have got Rashad White, Trey McBride, Kenny Pickett, and Rucker. So two tight ends. So you wouldn't have done that, but that's what you would have got. Or you can have AJ Dillon and your first round pick for 2024. Personally, I feel like you're getting, I mean, there's a lot of potential there, obviously, but to me, it does just feel a little bit like it obviously it depends where you are. I
suppose it depends what other running backs you've got on your team, because you're trading away a running back that potentially for the future is going to be the future of Green Bay's running game.
Yeah.
So you're losing. I'm guessing he was trading away AJ Dillon, yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll be losing an already proven, what people are saying is going to be the next sort of superstar running back there, and not gaining another running back because you're not getting Hall or Walker. So if you're comfortable with your running back that you've already got and can lose Dillon and it's not going to impact you, and you can use those picks for tight ends and wide receivers in this draft, that if that's what you need, then maybe. But yeah, Dillon is still a kid. He's perfect for, his value is worth another player, not draft picks, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he's done it as a poll as well, and it's currently 90% for AJ Dillon on the first. So I think we'll suggest whatever side you are on, stick with AJ Dillon or take AJ Dillon.
Well, if we've got no more questions, that's it. Did we want to run through my team? My team was Watson, Zamir White, Rucker, Howland, Ross. I had a little dip in every position. I think that's sensible to do in rookie mocks. You never really know what's going to hit, so having a little bit of everywhere isn't too bad. Hopefully this helped. Hopefully you've learned a few of the names and maybe got to hear a bit about what they did at college. So yeah, it's always interesting to do this. We will be back to do more stuff like this. Me and Adam are going to do plenty of different varieties of drafts coming up to draft frenzy season, when it is everyone's doing their mocks and fantasy stuff. So stay tuned for more. We will be putting it out. We'll let you know what we're doing. Get your questions in as well. Always happy to answer them. If you've got questions while we're not live, please just email us, or Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, any of them. Me, Adam, possibly Freddie, will help you out in deciding what to pick and what to go for if you're unsure. Or if you need some advice on any of these college guys, then just let me know. But thanks for joining us. Hope to see you again soon. Check out the main show as well. We spoke a lot about some of these guys, and we spoke a lot about the teams. Real good watch. But till then, thank you and goodbye.